William Samoei Ruto.
That is President William Ruto taking oath of office as Kenya's fifth president after he was declared by the late IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati. But what is surprising many Kenyans is Junet Mohammed's latest revelation about IEBC. And it is coming at a time that Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto signed a memorandum of understanding. Now, the member of parliament representing the people of Suna East constituency is alleging that IEBC may not produce a president. Does it mean that the famous song Ni Maombi Si Uchawi is true? That is what those who elected President William Ruto told us. And by the way, it is their democratic right to do so. But I want us to listen to Junet Mohammed revealing this secret in the National Assembly. They were debating on the extension for the time allocated for the IEBC selection panel. Let us listen to what he's saying.
So, Mr. Speaker, when I hear now other political parties coming up and saying this is a partisan process, if we cannot agree on an independent panel, Mr. Speaker, then let every community or every county or every political party produce their own IBC then, so that Kenyans can have different elections. Wewe chagua yako, mimi nichague yangu. Mr. Speaker, let us have faith in processes that have been initiated in good faith. And I have told you this process began all the way from NADCO. Before NADCO, there was a panel that sat, even used public resources, Mr. Speaker, at county or through parliament. But later we agreed that let's disband that panel.
We used 131 million, and you threw it out.
I'm told Parliament spent 131 million shillings on that panel, Mr. Speaker. And they were thrown out because we demanded as Azimio that we have no faith. Now, if we do not have faith in that one, we don't have faith in this one, we can only have faith in God only then. There is no other thing that we'll have faith in. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge Kenyans, and I want to urge my leaders, that let us have faith. These IEBC commissioners, Mr. Speaker, might not produce a president. I can tell you, we have seen it before. Presidents are produced by God. Just pray to God. That is the anointing person, Mr. Speaker. I might even put my own brother as the chairman of IEBC, Mr. Speaker, and I end up becoming the loser. I'm telling you, Mr. Speaker. It is God who provides it. We have come to terms with that, Mr. Speaker. For us who have been trying all the time and going like this, like that, now we have resorted to God, the Almighty. We have said this. Now, from henceforth, we are going to pray to God to give us something.
But Junet Mohammed is exposing President William Samoei Arap Ruto unknowingly. The truth of the matter, President William Samoei Arap Ruto, for him to secure a second term in 2027, it is not going to be a walk in the park for him. But I strongly feel this is a trap for him. And I'm going to support my argument with the following reasons. But before we do that, in case this is your first time, kindly take a second, support us by subscribing and turning on the notifications bell. Before we get to the reasons, I want us to understand what the Constitution says about IEBC. Now, according to the Constitution 2010, the Commission is responsible for conducting or supervising referenda and elections to any elective body or office established by this Constitution and any other elections as prescribed by an Act of Parliament. An IEBC chairperson, who is the IEBC chairperson, is responsible for declaring presidential results because he is acting as the returning officer. Remember, he is not producing a president, just like what Junet Mohammed said that IEBC may not produce a president. And that means, in fact, I strongly agree with Junet Mohammed, but he's saying God is the one who is producing a president. But the reality is that Kenyans should produce a president. But for a long time, Kenyans have not been producing a president. In fact, I can tell you from 2007, and I'm relying on what SK Mashara, and that one is also forming part of my reasons as to why I strongly feel this is a trap for President William Samoei Arap Ruto. Remember, all presidential election results after the promulgation of the Constitution 2010, all of them have been challenged at the Supreme Court. And I recall very well Raila Odinga challenging Uhuru Kenyatta's win in 2013 at the Supreme Court. I remember him challenging Uhuru Kenyatta's win in 2017. And I remember the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, David Kanani Maraga, nullifying that particular election, citing irregularities and certain illegalities that IEBC committed. Now, even in 2022, Raila Odinga contested that particular election result at the Supreme Court of Kenya. But I want us to understand why this is a trap for President William Samoei Arap Ruto. Now, the first reason, SK Macharia said that President William Ruto knew where he would get votes in 2022. And I want us to listen to what he's saying before we proceed.
So obviously it was Uhuru and Ruto. They won the second round, the repeat, easily. Then I want to mention, because all this is in our records, about the election of 2022. We went to Naivasha to plan for the election of Raila as a candidate. Again, remember, it is Uhuru against Raila, and I'm campaigning for Raila. And at Naivasha, I tried to explain that the register that is going to be used has fake voters, but Raila was so impatient, he stopped me from explaining. But these 4 commissioners that resigned in the end or were fired, they came to my house and I showed them how the register is not true. But that's how, obviously, again, and you remember Musando, that's how the votes have been put in.
So SK Macharia, that is a first trap, because what Junet Mohammed is saying, IEBC may not produce a president. If you try to contrast it with what SK Macharia is saying, then definitely IEBC may not produce a president, and the Kenyans are waiting to see what is likely to take place. In fact, this should not be the case. I think Kenyans should vote and the winner should be declared. There is no need of doing this abracadabra and making Kenyans to look like fools because you wake up in the morning to elect your leaders, but at the end of the day, those leaders that you have elected will not be declared. It does not mean that that leader that you want must win. But if it is free and fair, then that is a positive result. The second reason, Kalonzo Musyoka alleging that one of the IEBC shortlisted candidates for the chairperson, that is Joy Medivo. If she's appointed, then that is like appointing President William Samoei Arap Ruto.
2 names will be taken to President William Ruto for selection as the chair of IEBC. Now that is where then they must consult with us. And another, is it 9 names? Yeah, 9 names will be sent to him for selection of 6 as IEBC commissioners. Again, we must be involved. Umesikia kwa mfano hapa, huyu mama aitwa Joy Medivo, kwa mfano. Yeye uhakika hawezi akiingia huyo kama mwenyekiti kwa mfano, huyo ni Ruto. Ruto kabisa. Hatuwezi.
So this is just a clear indicator that President William Ruto, if Joy Medivo is appointed, then it means that President William Ruto will be falling in a trap. Because according to the former vice president, it is like Joy Medieval was part and parcel of the United Democratic Alliance Party, which is President William Ruto's political party. But we are waiting to see what is likely to take place, because we know this is a country where politicians like cheating Kenyans, but they're only fighting for what they want. Then lastly, Raila Odinga and Ruto have been accused of colluding in this particular process. And the same person who has been doing this is Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and others. They're talking about one of the IEBC panelists, that is Adams Olo, and the other guy that was not was it Kokimulu? Not Kokimulu, but I have forgotten the name. But there are people who have been accusing Raila Odinga and Ruto to have been colluding in this particular process, that the IEBC chairperson that will be appointed will only be William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga's candidate. I don't know what you think. You can let me know what you think in the comment section. I will be replying to your feedback. Remember, I promise at the end of my videos to carry out civic education. What you need to do is to register as a voter. And the beauty of doing that, you will be participating in two types of elections. One, general elections. Two, by-elections. The second thing you need to do is to demonetize politics. The beauty of doing that, you can be in a position to elect leaders of high integrity who will not be tempted to steal public funds. How can they do this? They can mismanage NGCDF funds. They can also mismanage the GAF in the case of women representatives. Then lastly, remember to vote for someone with a vision. Have you ever wondered why we end up with poor policies or poor legislation? It is because we elect leaders without a vision who can't even think. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.